Welcome, everybody. Let's go to the Lord prayer. Father God, we come before you this morning, so grateful, so full of your joy. Thank you for inspiring us, for loving us, and most of all, for forgiving us. We just thank you for our salvation, that we can walk in you and be risen men and women. And we pray for Chad and his presentation this morning. Thank you for his company, for Salem, for the things he's going to offer to us. And we pray all of this in your powerful name. Amen.
Amen.
Okay, this morning Chad is going to talk about new or sales campaigns that work and also some kind of summer special. Chad?
Correct.
Take it away.
Thank you. Hello once again, everybody. It is good to see your faces. And just like my good friend Tom said, happy Memorial Day weekend. Today we are going to talk, like Susie said, about a summer special. It is only good until June 30th. I wanted to speak through kind of one of the things that I take out from my perspective, advertisers, and a way that we can get you on air and both take advantage of our online audience as well at a very low cost of entry. So just a quick overview of Salem. I'm not sure what you guys know about us as a company, but we have over 100 stations, radio stations nationwide. The three different formats are Christian music, Christian teach and talk, and conservative news talk. There are a couple markets that have business radio stations, but for the most part, those are three formats. We also have a publishing group, Rectory Publishing. We publish Christian and conservative topic books. And then we own all of these URLs. They're very vertical to either the Christian or conservative side. We own townhall.com, redstate.com, hot air. We also have Christianity.com, GodTube, One Place, IBelieve.com. So we have a lot of digital websites out there that we own, that we can have inventory on and put our advertisers inventory on. And then of course you have Salem Surround. This is my division. This is the whole digital marketing division. We are our own digital marketing agency. I'm going to take you through one of the campaigns that we just launched. It's called Campaigns That Work. It's actually with the help of our good friend Pam that works with Marcus Sparks. She's the one that brought this in. I'm the one that kind of helped kind of shepherd it along, but really a great campaign with multiple tactics. Now, station coverage, this is important because you want to know who's going to be hearing your message. And one of the things that we looked into as a company to make sure that we got total county coverage is we created an FM translator of the AM station. So we have the AM station that you know for both of these. You have the 1210 for K-Praise and 1170 for the answer. But we also put in a translator that got our messaging up to North County where we were lacking in the AM. So with the message, it's the same message on both the AM and the FM for each station. But it's just, it comes through in different places a little bit better. That's just to ensure that everybody in the county can hear it. And then our listener and our programming on K-Praise. I'm sure you know a lot of these names. We have Dr. David Jeremiah every weekday, Pastor Scott Furrow. He's a local guy that now does a show in LA and San Diego. We have Focus on the Family. The Urban Alternative, Big Wave Dave has been with our station forever. You also have, from a listener standpoint, college educated, household income 52%, a little above, a little below median, but then you have own home, and this is 89%. This is almost double the San Diego average. So it just really means that you're touching families when you're on K-Praise. You have a very even split female to male, 53 and 47%. So when you look at that comparatively to KCBQ, it's much more male skewed. You have 62% male, 38% female, a little less on the household income, college educated a little bit higher, and it is a little bit older as well. And then you can see from a programming standpoint, we have a lot of the conservative talking heads, if you want to call them, Dennis Prager, Hugh Hewitt, Mike Gallagher. These guys all have very good followings. Charlie Kirk, I'm sure you're familiar with him. He's very involved in the church with Turning Point USA. And then Andrea Kay, she is our local host. She does a show at our studios from 6 to every night, but most of these all of these other national talents are in other places. They're in either New York, LA, Tampa, some of them. And then the Salem Display Network. So we talked about all the different websites that we own. We also have the station website. So you have your kpraise.com, your theanswersandiego.com. Those are the local San Diego station websites. We also have the mobile app, the newsletters, the Salem Web Network. And the Salem Web Network would be all of those other websites I talked about, the redstate.com, christianity.com. And what we're doing right now, and this is a summer sale, if you will, to get people to get on those websites and take advantage of our reach that we have with all of those websites, is we're putting together basically different packages to get you on air as well as online. This is a better look at the faith-based sites that we own. This is not exhaustive. There are others, but these are the bigger ones. So you obviously can tell we can really accrue quite a number of impressions across all of these different sites. So, you know, Christianity.com is probably the biggest one, but God gets a lot of traffic as well. We also own ChristianJobs.com. I don't think that one's up here this one, but that's one. Obviously, recruitment being very big right now. That's very important. And then from our conservative standpoint, you see a lot of our national personality sites, Town Hall, Hot Air, Red State, like I said, but then you have the Sebastian Gorka, Larry Elder, Eric Metaxas, Dennis Prager. So a lot of good personalities that do get a lot of traffic. This is a way for you to align yourselves with these different personalities. While you can't go in and buy like a Dennis Prager only locally and just put your banner on his website, you can buy the network, which allows you to potentially be on his site among these others. But in the end, you're reaching the same audience. You're reaching that conservative, affluent, primarily male, but they do own businesses. They do have expendable income. So that's what I like about the conservative side. And then from a production standpoint, this is a special that we're having right now. We normally charge $400, but for $200, we will create the 5 internet advertising bureau sizes that you need for display advertising. So these are some examples of some things that we've done. We've got a couple of books that we worked on, and these are all accounts that we've done in the last few weeks. So I just want to use our more recent material. But there's that My Point Credit Union. You can see some of these smaller ones. These are for mobile. We have sizes that are specific to mobile. So when you're looking at it on your mobile device, you're not squinting to read these. Like this would be on a desktop to make sure that you can read all the text. But you really, with these types of ads, you want to stay to the billboard philosophy, which is try to keep it simple, 7 words or less, but then you can also have an animation that brings in more words to them. So this is something that I wanted to share, that, you know, if you have a need for this, this might be a good time to talk to me. And then I put 3 options together that include this sale. Obviously, you can see it ends June 30th. But the first one would be just the Salem Display Network by itself. This would be just buying the website, the banner ads on our site. 100,000 total impressions over a month. The cost normally $1,600. It's $1,200. This was traditionally for the same cost. You could only get 66,000 impressions, based on our normal CPM of $15. But now it's a $10 CPM, so you can afford 100,000. Yes.
Do you have a conversion on the 100,000 impressions? Do you have a conversion on that?
Yeah, how many people will click through? And yes, we do have those numbers, and it varies based on which network you go with. But the national average is with a display network like this, it is very, very low. I'll tell you that just on a national average, because you're putting your message out there in front of people that may not have any interest in your product whatsoever. And just display in general has a very low, but I think a 0.1 is the national average for click-through rate. So, but if you're talking about $500, 100,000 impressions, that would be, I think, 100 that you could pretty much bank on the people that would click through over to your site. So, it's for $500, what is that? $5 per lead of somebody that's interested in your product on your site. So, good question, though. Very good question. This next one includes a radio schedule as well. So yes, great.
1% click-through?
0.1.
0.1.
Yeah. But ours perform better than that. That's just national average. I just want to set expectations early, but we've seen 0.2s and 0.3s based on, it depends on what your product is. If you speak directly to the audience, if you say you took the faith network and you tailored your message towards that faith-based audience, saying, do you believe in God? And then you go into your messaging, something along those lines, then you're going to get better engagement. You know, you really have to, once you know your audience and you can tailor something to that audience, you will get a better response rate. So this one, I included a lower amount of Salem display networks, but it also includes a schedule. And this includes 25 broadcast spots every week. You can see the 10 bonus spots in there. And then you also have the 12,500 Salem display network impressions every week. This is typically $800 a week. We're doing a special now to where you can get it for $600 a week. Something else to think about. You don't need to be on every single week of the month. You can pick 2 weeks a month if you'd like to, which would bring this cost down to $1,200 a month because you're only on 2 weeks out of the month. So it's on a weekly basis. So this is the number that you would look at, $600 a week. So that's something, if you were interested, that would be the number to use. And then 3, this includes both the schedule, streaming, Salem display network, as well as some news and weather billboards. So if you're ever listening on KCBQ, for example, or anywhere on the radio, you'll have a news break or a weather break or a traffic break, and it'll be sponsored by somebody. This will make you the sponsor of that break in our programming as well. So you get 3 of those a week. You'll also get 5 primetime broadcasts, 5 prime streaming, and then you get your additional bonus, and then you get 100,000 in the Salem display network. This is normally $1,200 a week, on special for $800 a week. And again, same thing here. You don't need to buy all 4 weeks in the month. You can just buy it 2 weeks per month if you want to. But this is kind of the Tesla package. This includes all of our best inventory. So now, Salem Surround, my division. We do everything from website design, local SEO, paid search, social media, targeted email, geofencing. You've seen a lot of those slides that I've presented here in the past. And then we really we want to help you reach your potential customer at every stage of their path to purchase. And this is what makes what we consider a campaign that works. Yes, Susan.
Yeah, just wanted to ask you before you left the campaign, the options. So what is the reach in terms of geography?
Geography, it would be all of San Diego County, and then there are parts of, you can reach into Tijuana and then up into South OC. So it will reach up into South Orange County. You can get in even parts of Long Beach. There have been some people that have called into shows that have been hearing us in Long Beach. Depends on time of day because of the, as Mark knows, after 8 p.m. we have to lower our frequencies from FAA and FCC standpoint, so we're not interfering into other markets because it gets much stronger at nighttime, the strength of the signal. Any other questions there? Okay. And this, I think I've shared it before, the purchase funnel, the ever important purchase funnel. You want to basically make sure that you're in front of that customer at each stage of this purchase path. And awareness being at the very top, this would be the radio, television, outdoor boards, those types of things. Interest, this would be when they start showing some interest. This could be social ads, it could be display. Decision, you're getting lower in the funnel. This could be retargeting, it would be pay-per-click, and then action would definitely be that pay-per-click. It would be people that are leaving reviews, it would be people that are making decisions right then and there. But as you know, like if you're going to buy a car, that time from awareness to purchase is probably going to be 6 months, right? You're in the market for a long time, you're doing research. And as you get closer and closer, you narrow your model focus, you narrow how much you're going to spend. And at the very bottom, the action is where you're actually looking at the offers on that specific model. And that's when you'll go to purchase. So you want to make sure that you're in front of the consumer the entire purchase funnel throughout the customer journey is another way to talk about it. Harry, did you have a question?
Yeah, Chad, I love the way you simplified this whole thing. I really, really do. I'm trying to separate Salem Surround with Media Group, Display Network. Those aren't actual entities, are they? Or are they subsidies of Salem Surround is the parent company?
Salem Media Group is a great question because we do have several divisions. So that's why I'm glad you asked, because I do want to clarify this. So Salem Media Group is the parent company. But then you have the Salem Radio, Salem O&O is what we called it, and that's our owned and operated assets. That would be the Salem Display Network, it would be our radio stations, it would be the radio commercials, and then you have Salem Surround, which is what we call digital marketing services, separate from the Christian and conservative. It is strictly a digital marketing agency. So Salem Surround is its own entity under the Salem Media Group umbrella. Gotcha. Does that help clarify that? Okay.
One more,
Yes.
two more questions. What has always fascinated me about this digital marketing is targeting. You know, how you can target a certain demographic like what you were just describing versus just splashing exposure on a billboard or even a radio station. You know, like Susan was just asking, a basic population of what, 3 to close to 5 million, from OC all the way to TJ.
Yeah,
you know?
if you include Orange County, could be up into 5 million.
Right,
Yeah.
that's a lot of exposure, but also a lot of wasted years. What do you think?
Depending on who you're trying to reach, it depends on what your product is and what you're trying to sell. If it has a finite target, then that product may not be best for you. But if it's a broad target, if your product applies to anybody, then it could be the right place to go. But it really does depend. And we're going to get into some of the targeting with some of these campaigns that work in some of the ways that I was able to target and really find the best customers for this particular client.
Chad,
Yes.
one more question. Do you have any different rates for profit versus nonprofits?
We do have a special nonprofit rate. Yeah, we do. And we can talk about that. I don't know with the special, I don't know if it applies, but we do have a nonprofit rate that is special, both for radio shows as well as inventory on our station, because we do like to treat them a little bit different. Yeah. Great question. This is an eye chart, you guys. Again, I will be posting this to the website where you can see it there. But this really goes into that purchase funnel a little bit deeper. Talks to you about the different tactics that fall into those different areas, where radio, event, display, over-the-top television, email. Those are all at the top. Where you get to the bottom, pay-per-click, retargeting. Going into IP targeting, which is actually finding out those homes that have shown interest in your product and just targeting those individual homes. So this is just one of those that says we should be involved in that consumer's purchase decision from the top all the way to the bottom. And that's why it's important to have multiple tactics that address some of these different levels. Now, my case study here, My Point Credit Union, they came to us through some great relationships that Pam made. So we got an opportunity to talk to them about what they have and what they may need some help with. They came to us and said they have 7 different branches in San Diego. They just opened up a new one, or were planning on opening up a new one in Carlsbad, and they were moving one in Rancho Bernardo, and they wanted to get more customers to those branches because one was brand new, the other one had moved. And so they gave us a project. What would you do to support these 2 branches? And this is the plan that we came back and ultimately got approved. So I just wanted to take you through from top to bottom what we did provide. So in this one, we wanted to include search because I knew that's where we were going to find a lot of their customers that may be looking for another type of credit union. Hot products right now are home equity lines of credit because people are very equity rich and cash poor in some cases, so they will cash out a lot of their home equity in order to fund things like either home improvement, if they want to go on vacations. So HELOCs are really hot. And then they also have what they consider the best checking account in San Diego, because you do get roadside assistance, you get cell phone protection, you get ID protection. So anytime credit, those credit protection right now, anytime anybody looks up your name, it checks your credit. Or identity theft is a big one that's included there too. And then they were also offering this $100 gas gift card to anybody that opened up a new checking account. And that was just for this promotion. So we wanted to capitalize on that as well. So the first thing that we wanted to recommend was surround search, because these are the people at the bottom of that funnel. They may be deciding what bank they're going to choose. There's not quite that 6-month decision-making process there is with a card. When you're talking about a checking account, you just want to make sure that it checks the main boxes. And then you can partner with the bank, because it's, you can have as many accounts as you want. You can have a bank, they have several different banks. But this is an example in case you don't know what search engine marketing is. If you were to type in, like right here, I use the best HELOC, right? Best home equity line of credit. Here's My Point Credit Union. It's sponsored right here. So we would buy these keywords when anybody typed this in. We'd make sure that we rose to the top of the results page. So that was the first thing that we did. And then one of the things we did, and I believe I talked about it right here, is what I found is the best way to do it, since they're kind of a newer, they used to be Point Loma Credit Union, and now they rebranded as My Point Credit, because they wanted to branch out into several different areas of San Diego. They didn't think the Point Loma would fly in North County. People would want something that was a newer name that was relevant to the entire county versus geo-specific. So absolutely. And so you can see that when I went into the market and started looking at the keywords that were being used, I thought, you know what, this is a strategy that works in a lot of different verticals. Why don't we apply it here? So what I said is, why don't we go after some of these competitors of yours? So when people are typing in SDCCU auto loan rates, we pop to the top. When somebody types in SDCCU San Diego, we pop to the top. Whereas some other one, Navy Federal login, if they're going through their Navy Federal login and trying to get there, we show up right at the top. So we're trying to steal some of that business away from other competitors, and that's where we are. So along with focusing on the checking account and the HELOCs, this was a third keyword group that was set up, almost a separate campaign to go after competitors. And the second tactic I wanted to recommend here was social media, and this again because of our targeting capabilities. It's great because I love it. People are captive. You have them looking at their niece's birthday party photos. They're looking at their friend's graduation. And then there's an ad that applies to them. And what we're able to do with social media is target by people that have an interest in banking, credit unions, and lending and finance. So the difference about banking, yes, Mark.
Well, I was kind of late getting my hand up, but the previous slide, could you explain geofencing?
Yes.
Is that not similar to when they do the search that you pop up first?
Yeah, this would be geo-targeting, not necessarily geofencing. So in this case, sorry, I should have spent some time on this. As you can see here, the two branches that we were focusing on were Carlsbad and Rancho Bernardo. And so the way that I made sure to just target those specific areas was by targeting the 4 cities surrounding Rancho Bernardo, and then I did a 5-mile radius around the Carlsbad location. If I did a 5-mile radius around the Rancho Bernardo location, it would pull in the San Diego city. I did not want that, so I singled out the specific cities that were around the actual branch. And so people that are typing in these keywords have to be in those specific areas, and that's the only time My Point Credit Union would pop up. So if we did it from down here, it wouldn't. And why is that? Because we're trying to get business to this branch and that branch, and that's why we're focusing on those areas. Yeah, and that's what we're being judged on ultimately, is how many new accounts are those 2 branches. So why would we want to bring new accounts to other branches when we're not giving our fair due? So does that help explain that? Yeah. Yes.
I have a follow-up question for Mark. So if you go back to your summer campaign special, right?
Mhm.
If you're going to do one of those, can you also use the geofencing in the same manner as you're doing here?
You can only to the specifics of San Diego PM. That's as granular as we can get. So you're not buying, Northern California or other states, but it would be specific to San Diego.
Right, but specific to San Diego, you could geofence particular areas for a campaign.
No, it has to stay in all of San Diego. So you can choose individual areas of San Diego like this does. It would have to be San Diego County, basically, which is the same as the DMA, yeah. But that's the beauty of search, is you can narrow it down to that finely. And same with social media. And here's the trick with social media is that it falls into a special ads category. And this is to prevent any types of discrimination. We can't do 5 mile radius. We can't pick specific cities, because what was happening in the past is banks specifically would go into underprivileged neighborhoods and target them with a very high interest rate product with a big, $200 gift card. And so they did away with that because they didn't want any discrimination happening. So now the smallest target you can choose with banking and credit with social ads is a 15-mile radius. Or you either have to go 15-mile radius or the entire market. So the smallest area you can target is that 15-mile radius. So what I did is I chose a center point that encompassed both branches here. So we would have people that went to both. So we have everybody within this circle is being served the social ads. And yes.
You mentioned the entire market. What does that mean? You said 15-mile radius for the entire market.
That
What
means
is that?
the San Diego County.
So you can target the entire county.
Yes.
Who dictates that it's San Diego? Is it just a certain?
No, you can either choose the entire county or a 15-mile radius. It's either or. Yeah, but in this case, since again, we're just focusing on those 2 branches, wanted to make sure that both of those were included in this. So made sure that was covered. And again, these are people that have shown an interest in banking and credit unions, lending and finance in these areas. And the process from a social standpoint, we have a design team that jumps on a call with the client. Yes.
I want to back you up a little bit. There's
Okay.
something you said here in this segment kind of triggered something. As a nonprofit with James Cerebral Palsy Foundation, we went on the air with Mark DeSpark. If it hadn't have been for cancellation, we wouldn't have been able to get on the air. And cash flow at this point is very, very limited. So what would we do to get involved?
From a nonprofit standpoint, if you wanted to put like a radio campaign together, going back to the summer special, is that what you're saying?
Yeah.
You would just we'd have to set up a meeting, see what your messaging wanted to be. We would then talk about a produced commercial, and then would you be looking for donors? Would it be a donor campaign? Then we would talk about the best ways to do so, the most cost efficient ways to do it, what we can apply those nonprofit rates to, what we can't, and then put together the best, most cost efficient plan for you. So that's something that we can do. If you wanted to do something where you are on twice in 2 weeks out of the month or something along those lines. We do have other campaigns that have done that, and I do have some case studies that have shown that they do. We do have a lot of those that have actual shows like Mark's that strictly ask their, okay, geez, okay, that ask their listeners for donations, and they've been quite successful. They've been on air with us for some over a decade. So very quickly, creative here. You have, we come up with the actual imagery. Then we put together the text and send that over to the client for approval, all having to do with both the My VIP checking, and then we also did a separate campaign for the HELOCs. But you can see here, then we put them into application where you could see them in the actual apps themselves and within the actual Instagram and Facebook here. So you have several different ad unit formats. You have Facebook video feed, Facebook marketplace, Instagram profile feed, Instagram feed. So there's a lot of different units that we have to build out when it comes to social as well. And here they are in the wild. So this is what they look like once they got finished here. And wanted to obviously bring you, I know that we had talked about this last time, the whiteboard video that we had done. We also do offer those some video production services. And this one is This turned out great. I know I showed you an example of this last time, but we were able to put this together in probably less than a week. Total turnaround time that included feedback from the client, going back, making revisions. Yeah, and one of the reasons we like these, especially for social media, is that if people don't have their volume on, they can just watch this and they'll still get all the information.
Using My Point Credit Union's My VIP checking account. Enjoy perks from roadside assistance, cell phone protection, identity theft assistance, local deals, higher rates on certificates, and more. It's San Diego's best checking account. Join now and get a $100 gas gift card on us. Visit your local branch or go to mypointcmu.com and sign up today. My Point Credit Union, helping you do more since 1948.
Right, it turned out pretty good, huh? And so you can tell you don't necessarily need volume when you have that. Just, you can look at it and say yes. So let me just get to this. This is how it looked once we laid the video out there, the different formats. And then one last thing here, another type of video I wanted to show you guys. They didn't have any content to show in lobby. And so they wanted something that talked more about their brand. And so this is the brand video that we put together for them.
5 years, My Point Credit Union has believed that if it's important to you, it's important to us, which is why we offer products like My VIP Checking, San Diego's best checking account. Our competitive home equity lines of credit are designed to let you enjoy life on your terms. And our savings and lending products are here to help you do what you want, when you want. My Point Credit Union, let's do more together. Find your branch today at mypointcu.com.
And that's the lobby video. That's what you're hearing in the lobby. So, and I'll just finish this up real quickly. We also included intent targeting in this plan, and these are anybody that has shown interest in credit and banking content, credit and banking related websites. This is an example of somebody's on a mortgage calculator. We know that they have an interest in some products that the bank might offer, so we serve them an ad. And this we are actually able to get as granular as zip codes around those specific branches. So people only in those zip codes are going to be receiving those ads. And then retargeting anybody who went to the website, made sure to follow them around and continue to serve them ads. That's one of the tactics we encourage for all our campaigns. And again, they succeeded in fulfilling the funnel strategy. They had the top of the funnel display ads, they had social ads, middle of the funnel, paid search at the bottom. This has only been live for about 3 weeks right now, but the results are fantastic, the reporting. And I have some of them here. I'll go through really quickly, but we can show you from a paid search standpoint what the top keywords were that are being searched: credit union, home equity. You can see Mission Federal Credit Unions in there. That's been one that got the best response. So this is the type of reporting that we provide back to the client. And then from a social standpoint, it can show you the different creative examples here. The video is actually doing the best with a 0.91 click-through rate and a 0.52 link click-through rate. The link click-through rate just means that they went to the ad, they watched the ad, and then they click through all the way to the website. And then we can show you how much post engagement there was, how many videos watched, how many people shared the video to other people, and show you how that is tracked of that over time. And then you can see the dissemination of Facebook, Instagram. Facebook doing much better, so a lot more of the budget is being pushed to Facebook. A lot of that has to do with scale and the targeting metrics that we have on Facebook versus Instagram. So, and this is just a YS. We have a much cheaper cost per click when it comes to social. You can see here that we do much better than the national average. Campaign management, we have a team that's dedicated to this, that looks at these campaigns daily to make sure that we're spending our clients' money the right way. And then brand safety. For a Christian conservative company, you would never end up in any questionable content, and you can make sure that we'll take care of. We will not let that happen. So that's all I have for you. Thank you, gentlemen and ladies.
Last question. Are they tracking sales in terms of new checking accounts open?
Yes, they actually, and we encourage them to do this because they wouldn't give us access to their full analytics because there's so much proprietary information banking. What they did is they said, set up landing pages specific to Salem. So when you click through on these ads, it goes to a landing page that's dedicated to us that they can see on their end. And then it follows them all the way to request, open an account, request a meeting, that type of thing. So far, they've been getting in touch with us and letting us know people are coming in and they're creating new accounts online, and they're very happy with the results so far. So we've gotten really good feedback. But great question. But thank you, everyone.
Awesome, great job. Quick announcements. First, Mark has something he wants to say. And then I'm gonna ask Lisa Marie to share about what she's gonna talk about next week.
You know how we go down and have coffee afterwards? We all sit at the table, and I was the one that kind of started that. And what's happened now is we've grown so big that we kind of take over. And we do. Last Sunday, it was almost ridiculous. There was at least 12 of us around the table looking for more chairs. Well, it got noticeable. They have asked us to go down and basically take over. You can go down to the cafeteria, but we're not gonna all just sit at that one table and, you know, hog all the chairs. It started out just a few people, and then, I don't know, like last Sunday, had been over 12 there. And it really is obvious, we do take over all the chairs. And even though we buy some coffee, and I always buy the bread, it still is overpowering. It's too. So, yes. Well, since the bread company was on my radio show, I feel obligated. Which, by the way, that's the Bethlehem Baking Company. Just want to give a plug. You can go to my website, markthespark.org. There'll be a logo. Click on, there'll be a drop of information. However, we are not kicked out of the CAF. You can go down, have coffee and whatever, but we're just not going to take over the table and all the chairs. They mentioned we could still, I guess, go in the room next door, Alice, or something. But so I wanted to mention that. Thank you.
Folks, the book is out.
Oh,
I really appreciate if you buy and leave me a review. Actually, we're getting some pretty good feedback. People like it, which is really important. It's easy. Thank you.
It's awesome. Thanks, girl. How much a copy?
Is it fiction?
No, it's non-fiction.
No.
It's crazy.
So I just wanted to give you a quick announcement. My name's Lisa Marie, for those of you who don't know me. I'll be presenting next week along with Janelle Leslie. Y'all know Janelle, right? She's not gonna make me push-ups this time though. We'll be presenting Fuel Your Entrepreneurial Fire. So we'll be sharing our expertise on how to fuel your little fire for increasing your energy and your focus. We will also provide insight on mindset, stress management, and this is going to be an interesting. I know we only have like 35-40 minutes really fast, so take notes. But so the second half will be an open forum because you know there's a room full of entrepreneurs and we can all collaborate and share ideas on on how to fuel our entrepreneurial fire so that we can just ignite that fire so that we can just have a long burning fuel to sustain us and less sick days.
Thank you, Ms. Marie. Let me pray us with thee. Lord, thanks for being with us. Thanks for walking with us through this life. Thanks for making it something more spectacular than otherwise it would be. We just pray for your strength and your wisdom